Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Veteran, first responder, or a patriot looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we want to put the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to Playtime. We got your 6 at 6. Now here's your host, Shad Turner of Veterans Unite Podcast and the People's Patriot Project. And as always, Patriot Pride.
All right, welcome back, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of We Got Your 6 at 6. I'm the host of the Veterans Unite podcast, Shad Turner, and we've got Mark Peterson and Andrea Eichmann from the People's Patriot Project joining us. And tonight we've got a fantastic episode, and if you saw that little short start something or other we had going on earlier, we don't know what happened there, technical difficulties, but we are live now. We've got Nick Richardson from Greater Veterans on tonight. And we've also got our first Foxhole participant, Brian, with Project Die Hard. But before we get tonight's show started off, we need to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're wearing a hat, take it off. If you can stand, and let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America. And to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Jeremy Daniels, thanks for coming back, dude. Thank you.
So what's going on, guys?
All kinds of stuff. Okay, so that little stutter thing, I'm just going to share out right away. So tonight's episode, we're going to give call-outs right off the bat to Kohler Chevrolet in Duluth, Hermantown, actually, Minnesota, Barker's Island Inn. It's actually an island in Lake Superior right off. There's a little town, Superior. It's a little college town way up on the northern part of Wisconsin across from Duluth, and there's a guy built an island. Eric knows the whole history. I don't know. So Shannon, the GM there, and then Gronk's is a cool, oh my gosh, they have awesome wings. They did dinner for our Christmas family last night, and we'll talk more about that later. But awesome. I'm just going to not make excuses, but that's why maybe Mark and I are a little off. We had a super exciting day. He took him up Friday night. Both of us spent the day with him yesterday. And then I stayed last night and got them back home today. So it was great. We'll tell you guys all about it later. That was one of the most exciting things for us. How about you guys?
Well, I know for my part, I've just been working my butt off all week. And then this weekend we made what we call Costa Rican tamales.
Yes.
And if you've never had them, one, you need to go to either Veterans Unite Podcast on Facebook or to my personal page, Shad Turner on Facebook. And you can see pictures of the table we had set up. We ended up making like 110 pairs. So, that's like, 220 tamales altogether. And they're not like your Mexican tamales. No. These are, one, they're wrapped in banana leaves. Total different flavor. Hell of a lot better. Two, each one is a meal in itself. I mean, it's got a big ass scoop of maza in it. We've got shredded pork, carrots, green beans, peas, chickpeas, bell peppers, all kinds of stuff in it. And then you just wrap it all up, fold them shut, tie them together in a pair of two, and then they get boiled for like an hour or so. And when it comes out, oh my God, it's just so good. But
I had to come back in because we're talking about food, and I've never had, and this is by no means an insult to you, your family, or anyone. I've never had a tamale I liked, and I've had some friends that tell me that no, you've got to try it this way. Now, there was a time where I had grits that I didn't like until I went down to Atlanta, and I had some grits that, oh yeah, I will drive to Atlanta I will gnaw my arm off to get to Atlanta to eat some of the grits down there. But so I'm all game if someone can show me a tamale that I like. Don't ship it to me.
When are you coming to Texas, man? They freeze well.
I'll come in give me a couple weeks. It's just starting to get really cold up here, Shad. I'll be right down.
There you go.
I'm going to spend a few days, though, so keep them in the freezer.
Okay, you said it's getting cold. What was your temperature today?
I think it was 17 yesterday morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm wearing shorts right now.
Oh, my gosh. You're killing me.
Hey, I'm wearing shorts, too. But
difference is I can wear them outside and be out all day and not get hypothermia.
Hey, this was our first real cold weekend, so We'll be fine. We just got like 12 more of them. We'll be all right. But I'm going to come and get warmed up in between times. So, yeah, that's why Brian doesn't live in North Dakota. See, we're kindred that way.
Well, I was up at the fob all last week doing some work. I got more trails opened up and woke up one morning and it was literally 11 degrees out. I was like, ouch.
No.
Now that's why I'm in Texas, man.
Mm-hmm. We had this car that we hauled this family around in this weekend. I don't know. It was a Nissan. That thing got hot and wouldn't get cooled down. I've never complained about being hot, but my face was all red today, and everything's so it's brand spanking new. Everything. I don't know how to run any of it. I have a Jeep, and it has turn buttons and whatever. And this thing, I'm like, anybody in here know how to run the heat in here? So I just turned it off. It's the only button I could find that made any sense. So yeah, it was hot. Those are the kind of vehicles you need up here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
All right, so before the show, we were talking about how we didn't really have a whole lot as far as the pre-show things going on, but I did want to mention that because my wife brought this up to me, was that tomorrow is the winter solstice, however the hell you want to say that. So the shortest day of the year. And then after that, we only get longer, but we're also going to get colder, so go figure. That's about all I've got. That and so today I was playing Mr. Fix-It around the in-laws' house. I was putting in some new light switches with dimmers on them. I put in a couple of outlets that have USB plugs already in them. So you've got your two outlets, but then you got two USBs on the side. So you don't have to have a little thing to charge your phones. And then at the end, my mother-in-law decided oh crap, I need to get the nativity scene set up outside. So we had a pallet at the house for some unknown reason. Screwed some wood to it, put a slant roof on it, and now she's got her nativity scene set up outside.
Oh, wow.
So
nice.
outside of the fact that we don't have a Christmas tree yet, we're almost ready for Christmas.
Almost there. Close.
Almost. Only a few more days to go.
It's close. Well, so that's what we were planning on celebrating. So Shad brought that up because my favorite day of the winter is when it means days are going to get longer and the sun will be out longer. And then just yesterday, right? Just yesterday was the Wreaths Across America. I saw some really cool stuff. We kind of announced that last week. So every December, Wreaths Across America is an American day now. It's to remember, honor, and teach about those that have given everything, not just some, but everything for us, and to remember their families as well. I did have one other holiday or national day that I added to the 28th. So after we get through our holidays, and I think this is fitting, it's National Call a Friend Day. And, we got your 6 at 6 is a big deal, and reach out to 6 and all of that. And you know what? Let's not forget all of our friends. But holidays are hard, you guys, for a lot of people. So when you're doing your 6 at 6, maybe throw on a couple friends as well from outside your serving world, and just get in touch with them as well. So there you go. Don't forget about them after Christmas. So
all right, very good.
Mark is still busy. Look at that.
He is. So I guess that means that we're good to go ahead and bring Nick in.
Yes, let's bring in our guest, Nick Richardson.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, just tired and just trying to take everything in and listen. It's great to hear so much patriotic stuff in one spot for a change.
There you go. So what have you got going on?
Just trying to, dust myself off. This year's been very atypical for not just myself, but the nonprofit in Washington State. We haven't done a single event this year because certain people on the Seattle side of the state want to keep voting in an idiot for a governor, and he kind of shut everything down. And it, bugs the heck out of me, but I'm not ready to, give up the fight and get out of Washington just yet,
Yeah, no. I'd just have to say Minnesota's probably, we got a lot like that going on too, and we're going to live through it. We're going to get through it and keep moving forward, which that's what we do. Texas, you're surviving down there, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, fortunately, our lawmakers aren't completely California-ized yet, if you want to put it that way. And so, yeah, we can still go out. We can still do things. Of course, they want you to social distance everywhere you go. If you're walking into a place, put on a mask. If you're going to a restaurant, you can take it off once you sit down. Although there are a few places here in Texas that are still like, screw you hippies, and we're going to live the way we want to.
Oh,
and
wow.
they just walk around. And
Wow.
I love going to those places. But outside of that, yeah, we're kind of like the rest of the country. Got to wear a mask if you're going to the grocery store. Got to wear a mask if you're going wherever, But anyhow, so Nick, you mentioned your nonprofit and how you haven't been able to do anything this year, but what is your nonprofit?
So I started Greater Veterans back in July of 2015 myself. I've never done nonprofit work prior to this, so it's kind of learn as you go sort of thing. And what really originally gave me motivation to start this was back in 2012 when I finished my master's degree in criminal justice. The economy was tough then too, and I wasn't getting a job. A lot of my vet issues were coming to the forefront. Being an alpha male, I didn't want to go to the VA and admit I had injuries or issues with anything. So I wasn't getting VA compensation at the time. And I was, hitting rock bottom. I wasn't quite suicidal yet, but not in a good spot mentally. And then, the wife, of course, comes up to me and says, "Hey, let's try for a girl." And I'm like, "What? You want to try for a kid now when everything's on the floor, so to speak, with my emotions, with my mind, everything." And we did. And then my daughter, once I knew she was pregnant, my daughter kind of flipped the switch back right. And at the time I just started working out again, working with dogs again, doing that type of stuff. And I thought, it'd be cool if more veterans did this. And that was kind of where it ended in 2012. And then 2015, as we're coming out of more tough times, and all that, I kind of started to piece together what would be, in my opinion, a great nonprofit that both could go national and help a lot of people. And the way we decided to do this is we decided, okay, you need a name that's easy but different, which is why it's spelled with an 8 instead of the typical way, more phonetic. And then you need to define what it is. So I thought, okay, what if we put a cafe bistro, a lounge rec area, you have some service dog training in there, a gym and auditorium for concerts, hiring events, holiday meals, and then like an internet center, like business development type deal. And you make it available to the veteran and their family. And then when we do concerts, guest speakers to anyone in the community, and draw veterans off of what I call Veteran Island and bring them back across the bridge to bridge back in the community, and realize, when they're at one of our events, and they bump into, Joe Civilian and realize they went to high school together, or their sister dated their brother, what have you, they start to melt that ice and start to come back home. So that's kind of how we built it.
Awesome. That is awesome. That's I got very excited to hear more about it, because your mission statement reads very similar to ours. So incredibly similar. I'm like, this is awesome. We need to connect. We want to do the same things. We're not near each other yet, so it's not even a competition thing. And Mark and I and the People's Patriot Project, we don't run on the competition. We run on how many people can we help, because we can't reach them all. And so that's kind of our token statement. And so I was like, gosh dang, how did I not get him on here sooner? So what kinds of things Mark sometimes says it's like he wants to do the one-stop shop. I mean, he wants to have beard trims on site. He wants to have a shooting range, horses, chores, like kinds of transitioning outdoor exercise things that can help. And not to mention the on-site physicians and attorneys and VA reps, whatever it is that you need to help just make that transition and make those decisions so much easier.
Well, we thought, eventually, because Greater Veterans is a nonprofit, we put a lot of thought in talking to our legal team about the center itself, right? So like, if you go to any great music venue, it has its own name no matter who owns it. It's a separate entity in itself. So we thought, how can we keep it a part of us but different? So then we came up with the name, calling it the EVAC Center, Every Veterans Assistance Center, because it's a cool acronym for marketing, but it also translates to the veteran community in terms of the word evac, getting out of a bad into a good situation. So we thought of that. Then we thought, in terms of our live events we put on, that we've put several on, how do we keep people here? Because just, here's a couple random famous vets someone knows, here's some merchandise, that's not going to get it done, even if you do it at a good bar or venue. So we thought, okay, well, let's do music. So like on the music side, we've had, as I mentioned in the pre-show chat, Sailor Jerry's played for us. Amelia Presley, she's a Coast Guard vet. She will be playing for us. We're working on some stuff with her. Scooter Brown's a good friend of ours. That concert that got canceled in Colville, Washington, that big music fest last fall, he was supposed to play at. I actually went and made a call to the promoters to get him signed to play for that event. Drake White is the headliner. So we do music pretty much as a main focus after the speakers. We try and keep the speech, 5 to 10 minutes. That way no one gets bored. They can mingle with the crowd, drink, whatever they want to do. And then, once the music plays, everyone hangs out, has a good time, and it ends on a high note, no matter what else happens during the event, So we kind of went that route. And then we do whatever we can to support other veterans, veteran causes, veteran business. I try not to be too, what would I say, maybe public and forthcoming with the what or the why, because I still don't know. But like, I was a Club Grunt style member for like 3.5 years and briefly an ambassador with them before it got too demanding. And when they let Daniel walk, no matter what happened, whose fault it was, I was like, look, you don't have a veteran in charge anymore. I'm not going to support your company. Sorry.
Right.
So I try and support as many veteran products as I financially can with my own money, and try and encourage that with other people too. Look, you don't have to be a veteran business necessarily to get our support, but if you're a good business in the community doing things the right way, whether you're a veteran or not, if you support veterans, we're going to support you. And that's kind of the culture I want Greater Veterans to spread, not just here in Eastern Washington, but nationally. And it's tough with the way things are right now.
No, totally.
Nick, I totally understand you. Project Die Hard is going nationally.
Yeah, definitely.
So you and I need to talk.
No, so that was the piece that I was listening to you guys as you're going through. I wanted to make sure that we get some, I think, essential pieces into the show today. And, Brian Gibson with Die Hard Project. And we got Scotty Sexton down, Forgotten 22 down in Kansas. We've got Nick Richardson with Greater Veterans. How awesome is that going to be when we have 50 different organizations that isn't worried about stepping on each other's toes, but working together, and someone calls one of our networks and says, hey, I need help. And Brian can say, oh, I got someone in Minnesota that can do it. Now I'll put you online. So this is one of the things that we do. I call it, we don't do referrals, because we don't do referrals. If someone calls me and they need help now, that veteran and first responder is in crisis now. They've thought about all their options, and they've now taken the time to reach out. They don't have time for us to drop the football, because that's a fumble and someone else is going to get possession of that. And that could be one of the bad dudes. That could be suicide. That could be drug addiction. That could be alcoholism. That could be, you name it. I can call up Nick Richardson in Washington and say, hey, I got a guy on the line right now. He's right there. It might be a 3-hour drive, but a 3-hour drive is a lot better than an 18-hour drive from Minneapolis to go make sure this guy or gal is okay. And so I got Holy Ghost bumps right now, just because the people we've brought on this show. I could show our cast list. I have it sitting in front of me of the organizations that we've got together since March. And we're doing what we need to be doing. And I hope you're part and want to do this. We have post show after this. If anyone's just sort of hanging out, if anyone across the country, you're welcome to come in. One of the things is, I was on Kaufman's podcast this week, and he's like, Mark, why aren't the veterans reaching out? And I'm like, I think they are. I do think they are. I'm not saying all of them are, but I do think they are. But they're reaching out, and they're calling someone that doesn't have the resources and the bandwidth. They're working during the day too. I mean, me and Andrea work during the day as teachers, but people are doing jobs, and I've committed to having less than an hour contact time, calling the person back. And that's, again, these guys and gals are in crisis, and they've reached out. And if you don't make that call back, their next call is the bad guy, whether that's sitting on the bed with their 45 and their bottle of Jack or whatever. And I know I'm talking pretty graphic right now, but it's what we're dealing with. And we got to stop hiding and running away from the issues that we're dealing with. At the same time, I don't think every veteran in the country is dealing with this stuff. You and I both know that. But they're able-minded, they're able-bodied, and they all decided to serve at one time. I say the People's Patriot Project is an opportunity to continue to serve. I say service is therapeutic. And so, I mean, if we can get this lingo, jargon, and all these pieces out there, I really think we can do an amazing job. I'm knocking on wood, and it makes me nervous every time I say this. Within network, now I'm not saying we're losing 17 to 75 a day, but within EP3 network, we have not lost one since 2018. I don't want to lose that. It scares the hell out of me for to say that. And I don't want anyone to prove me wrong. But that's where we're at.
Well, and if I can say something too about, veteran suicide that I've done, I sit on Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers Veteran Affairs Board, right? And she does a great thing trying to get vets to speak up and try and listen more and that sort of thing. But the problem is when you're in her position, you get stats thrown at you. You got to do your own research. And unfortunately, people in office don't always have time to do that. Or they have an advisor that maybe at times might not be the best. Luckily, she's had good advisors. But on the veteran suicide front, and everyone thinks, how do we fix the VA and this current Records Act that they're doing to make it like CODIS with the fingerprints? That's getting field tested here in Spokane. And I can tell you we'll get on that later maybe, but that's not going to work. But where I'm going at is everyone wants to say, okay, let's throw money at the VA, right? That's how we fix it. That's wrong. Doctors go to the VA, civilian doctors, a lot of times to get protection from the government through the tort laws so they can't be sued because they automatically become part of a government entity. I worked with a vet. I can share his name. I already have permission. Patrick Brotherton. He fell in the Navy. I think it was 20 some years ago. The doctor fused his ankle. Sorry, I can't talk at the wrong angle. Resulted in him becoming diabetic. The VA doctor and a civilian doctor here in Spokane, the surgeon, did not share records. It ended up resulting in necrosis and eventually amputation of his foot. He ended up going to court. The judge that decided the case ultimately, and it was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, was Judge Bastian, the one that in the 9th District that's kicked a lot of Trump stuff back. And he ended up getting a minute settlement compared to what he should get. But because of his leg missing, he was never, felt sociable enough to chase the ladies, have a family, that sort of thing. Not saying that matters to everyone, but a lot of things in his life didn't happen because of this injury. And a doctor could be held accountable if we either privatize the VA or change the tort laws. And everyone wants to throw money. Jason Johnson from, I always screw up his nonprofit, Canine Warriors, I think, or something, Canine Warrior Project. He had a bill that went through Congress and is almost finalized now to where they're allotting $25,000 per service dog with a total cap of $10 million in 3 years to be on the books to help pay for service dogs, right? And I try not to cuss because it's good what he did. But the numbers are bullshit because the thing is, it doesn't take $25,000 to train a service dog. So I have a male and female shepherd you've probably seen pictures of. I'm adding another male and female. And once we get our breeding set up, I will donate one dog free of charge out of every single litter I produce to a veteran of my choosing. There'll be a process. But a service dog does not need all this high-level training unless it's a sight dog or a medical alert dog, right? A general service dog, all it needs to do is not be a jackass on a leash in public, sit, stay. That's it. A good dog is going to come to you when you're in your dire moments and say, hey, dummy, pet me, calm the hell down, you're out of line. My dog does it for me. Last winter, my male shepherd Blitz, I fell on the steps at our old house, hit the back of my head on concrete in 14-degree weather. The wife doesn't get up for another 5 hours. I should have froze to death and died. But because my dog was outside with me when it happened, he pulled my sleeve, licked my face, and barked at me until I stood up, went to the VA, and found out I had a concussion and cracked tailbone. And I didn't train him to do that. I trained him to be loyal to us, but that's about it. And he walks fine on a leash. But because someone doesn't have a certificate saying, hey, look here, this is a service dog, then people are saying it's not legit. But they're also failing to realize that, a lot of vets in the spec ops community or veterans that are pilots or veterans that are a cop, firefighter, whatever, if they all of a sudden start getting seen in public with a service dog, whether they need one or not, all of a sudden they're all the homeless vet, the vet that's divorced, the vet that's drug dependent, the vet that's suicidal. Why do we need a piece of paper saying, guess what, your service dog, in fact, is legit? Why do we need that? That's a bunch of horse shit.
Well, and I think that's some yellow tape we can figure out. This is the exact reason, and we've had many marketing people come into our world and say, you need to specialize. You need a PTSD, sexual military trauma. And I'm like, we don't have time for that, because you know what? When our veterans reach out to us, we need solutions. And so having this conversation, we've got a family up here that through a network of about 16 different conversations Andrea has been involved in, we've got a guy willing to donate dogs. We have another group willing to train the dogs. And it's just like, put all the pieces together and put all the resources in the same spot. Here's the deal. I want to pay and make sure someone's putting food on the table as well. And I know some of these people they just want food on the table, a roof over your head. At the end of the day, I tell all my vets and first responders, that's at the end of the day, you have a roof over your head, food in your belly, and you feel safe. All the other stuff is frosting on the cake, and we'll get there. But that's the same even for the people that are. We have so many veterans and first responders that are open to helping, and we just got to get them all in the same place at the same time and make the call.
Well, and you and I, not to cut you off, but you and I talked about that a little bit in the pre-show. But, depending on what stats and figures you look at, there's 22, there's 40, there's 70, there's all these numbers. And then that's the vets that we know about that are in the VA system killing themselves, or that you personally know. That's not the homeless veteran. That's not the vet that came back from whatever war, conflict, or deployment and said, screw this. I don't want to be a part of any community. I want to be left the hell alone.
Right.
And you got to take those numbers into effect. And then you got to also take into effect, just like the big pharma theory, the disease is profitable, the cure is not, right? It's the same thing with veterans. There's 40,000 veteran nonprofits, and maybe a third of those actually do work. I mean, I put a lot of my own money into Greater Veterans. I got a VA disability rating that I use money for some of my family stuff, but I only make $40,000 a year, and I still have 2 kids at home. And, I'm not rich by any means, but yet I'm doing it. Why aren't more veterans stepping up? You don't have to be the voice if you can be the money or the backbone. Why not, right?
That's one of the funny stories that we got. We have a lot of teachers that help us in our network. And when I say a lot, of the 80,000 involved in our union, we got like maybe 3 that help us. So not an attack on the union, not an attack on teachers. And you know what? Why would teachers invest in this anyway? That's another piece. But he goes, why are not the veterans helping? And I'm like, again, the only thing you do is look in the mirror and say, why aren't you helping? And I'm not here to say everyone needs the help. I'm not here to say all of us are the solution, to be honest with you. And one conversation, all of us, the 5 of us are one conversation away from saving a life today or saving multiple lives today. Anyone that's listening on the show right now, you are also one conversation and or reach out to us, all the above. It's just awesome.
And back to that a little bit to kind of, spin off that. Think how many veterans out there, big names. I told you one in the pre-show, and there's several, if not thousands, that make their whole living off of milking the vet community for everything they have. They'll reach out to nonprofits and say, hey, I'll come speak. It's going to cost X, Y, Z. Like, I won't say the name of the individual, but he's a well-known veteran on the Army side. And I reached out to his agent about, getting him to speak, right? And he used to be on my Facebook until an agency took over and they didn't know me, so I got deleted. Whatever, who cares? Doesn't matter. But his cost was $10,000 to $15,000. And then I reached out to, when we were putting together the Ladies at Liberty event geared towards getting female veterans at the event and more female veterans on the card than we typically have, we reached out to Jet Girl, Caroline Johnson's agent, the first female to bomb ISIS. And we thought that'd be kind of cool. And they were telling me the same thing. And I'm like, not to be graphic or sound like an asshole, but other than being born female and dropping a bomb that everyone that does that job's trained to do, what other accolades does she have? What type of draw does she have? Has she ever spoken this area? And that's the problem, is you got to look at it like a show promoter in the music business. If you've never been to this area, You don't have a huge following. Even if you do, what are you going to make? Am I going to lose my ass? And I've brought people up here that have been high dollar and lost my ass, and it's came out of my family's budget. And, you know, when I lose $2,500 of my own money, you know, I'm going to be a little pissed off about it, you know.
I love the conversation. And we got so much more to say.
You are preaching to the choir, brother. Oh, you're
having
preaching
Brian
to the choir.
Love having Brian here with Die Hard Project. We're going to take a little break. One of our great friends, Jen Ford, we are going to let her have a moment. Don't need a lot for Christmas.
Spend all of our savings on the bills. Maxed out all the credit cards on gifts for the kids. Use the same old decorations for the last 8 years. Now you're stressing by getting something for me. Don't need a lot for Christmas, just give me you. Don't spend all your money on high-price gifts when a box on wire will do. We'll sit under the mistletoe, dance to Bing Crosby and Nat King Cole. Don't need a lot for Christmas, just give me you. Just give me you. We'll sit under the mistletoe, dance to Bing Crosby and Nat King Cole. Don't need a lot for Christmas, just give me you.
Jen is so awesome, and we have a list and a lineup of artists coming up, and we're really excited to present that. We talked with Nick a little bit. He's got a list that he's kind of dropping our way. He's given us permission through a person to play a song tonight, and we're going to go ahead and throw that up here in a little bit. If you are a veteran or first responder and are you interested in showcasing and getting your stuff out here, I want to tell you, I think it was 3 weeks ago now. Was it that long ago? 2 weeks ago. We did our Giving Tuesday thank you, and we had it was a compilation of 14 different artists, but we had artists, and but we had 9 on, and oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I had smoke inhalation that night, and some Holy Ghost bumps coming up, and I'm so excited about the relationships we're building with Nick Richardson of Greater Veterans and the relationship we have with Brian Gibson of Project Die Hard. There's people that have claimed that I'm crazy for allowing other organizations to come on our stuff, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I feel good inside when I do it, so I'm not going to continue to do it, man. We've had people reach out to us and say, you know, those are great people. I've had marketing people walk in and say, you need to simmer down. We talked that piece. I've got a list for a young lady I have to fill out this week. She wants to know what I've spent for money to be trained in what I'm doing. I don't know that I need to be trained to be a friend and build a relationship and tell people they foxtrot matter. That's not a hard thing to do. And again, thank you, Nick, for being on tonight. Thank you, Brian, for being in the foxhole. I gotta say, and I gotta be, I owe probably Andrea the largest accolades I can because she puts up with a lot of poo from me. I know I seem like Santa Claus on the screen and that I'm jovial. I definitely have my moments, and she is the glue that holds the People's Patriot Project together. And so I thank you, Andrea. We had such an amazing weekend, and it's only getting better. And I feel frazzled, but at the same time, there's some pieces we got to get out, and I just think it's important. I'm going to play a little clip for you right now. And Nick, by no means are we done with you yet, but I just want to make sure we get some of this other stuff done. And I want you to listen to this next clip, and I want you to hear the voices in the clip. Now, I don't know if I'm going to stay on screen the whole time because I don't know if I'm capable of doing that. I have a persona that I got to protect, and it's a little smoky in this space lately. So
I'm gonna say one name right now, Eric, because I think Eric is watching.
Awesome.
Yeah.
By no means does that video even come close to the shock and awe that Bentleyville up in Duluth provided for us. We would like to thank the organizers for the amazing treatment for our veteran family. We'd like to thank Gronk's Grill and Bar again. We want to thank Kohler, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. They put out a 2021 when I got it, which Andrew had already driven it. When I got it, it had 18 miles on it. It was brand new. It was the bells and whistles. It was the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that these kids and family needed. Barker's Island Inn gave these guys poolside room. It was absolutely, and I can tell you right now, I can't take credit for any of it. The People's Patriot Project can't take credit for any of it. It's these amazing businesses, these amazing Patriot supporters, and friends and family that come out and call for the needs of our veterans and first responders. And we thank you. Gosh, those little kids, we try hard not to exploit and put names out there. And I'm going to say we love you, and you're deserving. Our veteran lost his leg in October, and they were going to just forgo all Christmas celebrations and experiences. And we have a couple families on our list that we're trying to help this year and just give them something. This will not be the year that the family members, this is not the year or Christmas that Dad lost his leg. He lost his leg this year, but this is going to be the year that they got to go remember and be part of something amazing and see lighthouses and see things that they've never seen before. So we thank all these businesses. We thank all these people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not enough, and we know that we're building awesome relationships, and I can keep going. All I'm going to say is thank you 100,000 times. So I'll give it to Andrea, see if she's got anything to roll out there other than thank you.
Crap. Did you leave anything? Well, your organizers that came through. We honestly, so we met this family. Their benefit was like 1 month ago, a month and a few days, and then we do a list of gifts and stuff for our families, and on there I had made a certificate, and it one little part was of a little family weekend getaway, and that was kind of what they were like. We would really be, and on our kind of family bucket list is this Bentleyville trip, and I've never been there. I've heard it's amazing. I don't know if Mark's ever been there. My daughter was actually just going up in the near future, and I'm like, that sounds really cool. Here's the deal. They have one weekend open before Christmas, and we have like 3 weeks. We're going to make this work. And it did. It came together. And Duluth is a beautiful town. And we stayed in Superior, right? It's Wisconsin, Minnesota border there. So we had to watch some Packers yesterday. Besides for that, the whole weekend was amazing. Well, I mean, the Badgers won too. The Packers won. Life was really good over there.
Freaking Badgers stole our axe. Damn it.
So yeah, it was fun. It was Merry Christmas, and yeah, that's what we want to focus on. Whatever, if it's Christmas and that's your holiday this week and the next couple weeks, have the best one ever. If it's a holiday by any other name, I want to wish you that best holiday as well. And if you guys think those voices were amazing, you should have heard the voice that saw the dinosaur. It was so funny. He's so cute.
There's a piece I didn't get to load, and there's a house there. Can you remember the name? I won't remember the
Exhibition
name.
Drive.
Exhibition Drive. One house. This guy spends his entire. The house plays to a radio station that he created. Plays to the music.
And like.
And the very last song was a Frozen song.
Frozen, yeah.
And the little girl that was with us, oh my gosh, I got a video clip and I wanted to get it on here. No,
she's saying it word for word. She's saying it word for word.
On earth that can get through that thing. Like, are you kidding? Stop it. This is not. And Dad is just a blubbering. I won't.
We can hear you. Stop it.
Well, he kept talking about it all night long. I'm like, for Pete's sake.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Don't ask, don't tell, for Pete's sake. You don't cry in the army.
Nobody was crying.
All right, you're right.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. So, all right.
Yeah, and with that said, you also need to remember, not everyone is sitting at a table eating a Christmas meal this year. We've got our veterans that are homeless. We've got our first responders. We've got our veterans that are deployed and our veterans that are just away from home. Remember, not everyone gets to be a happy family during this time. It's a lot of stress. Again, if you make sure you're doing your buddy checks during this time. Buddies, and we call girls buddies. I want to make sure we're all inclusive because we got our females too. But I call you my buddy, right, Andrea?
Yeah, I'm your buddy.
Yeah, you're my buddy. Yeah, make sure you do your buddy checks. And if it seems off, ask the question. We don't have time to dilly-dally around. I used the word last week. Andrea actually had to look it up and told me I was okay to use it. But I think I got 2 thumbs for it last week. And it doesn't seem right phonetically, but we can't dilly-dally around this. I know. Spin it up, Peterson.
Was that what I meant? It was just...
Gosh, I'm done. You run with it now.
No, you're awesome.
Shad. Go, Shad. It's you.
Oh.
No, I'll bring it back to Nick, though, because he's here with us, and we're not done prodding and poking and figuring out. So do you have a call out? Do you have a wish? Do you have a request?
Yeah, a little bit of all that, actually. So, we're big on paying it forward with our organization. Real quick before I get to that, last year at our Christmas party, because we try to do one every year at my VFW where I'm a member of, we try to do a free concert get together where we don't take donations. 100% of it goes to that VFW post. It's free to anyone that wants to attend. That's what we do. We're not doing it this year, obviously, because Governor Jay Inslee is a complete, But last year we had Jack Yoder, who's a nationally known musician, come up all the way from Colorado on his own dime to perform for us. We've had, another veteran artist, Jesse Quant, who's up here play for us. A friend of mine who passed this year, Jenny Monday, she died in her sleep of a blood clot. Mother of 3 beautiful little girls, 35 years old. All the girls are 5 and under. Her daughter just turned 1, the youngest. She was real close to me and my family. Actually opened the Sailor Jerry event that we did up here. So what we're trying to do, we were thinking about going live, doing a Christmas thing, but it's just not the same. I can't. But sorry, I'm kind of getting sidetracked here.
Oh, you're good.
Back to our similar Christmas moment of joy that we had last year that I think about a lot right now because it is Christmas time. A friend of ours is the local mall Santa, a very good Santa, looks the part, acts the part, everything. We brought him to the VFW for kids, right? And my daughter had just seen him at a local nursery here that had reindeer a couple weeks prior to that. So we get to the event. My daughter's all dressed up. I'm wearing an elf costume with Batgirl paint because it's the only thing that matched the role. My buddy's dressed up as Sven, the reindeer from Frozen. We're having a good time. I wore a fanny pack. I know how the Hooters girls feel now with their stuff. And anyway, my daughter walks in and she sees Santa, and there's a picture. I'll have to send it to you of her and Santa together. And like, I went home and I cried that night like a little kid because my daughter legit to this day still thinks Dad knows Santa. And then my granddaughter showed up a little bit, and we've never done a hoodie for Greater Veterans yet. My son and my daughter-in-law went and had a Greater Veterans hoodie that my granddaughter was wearing. So it was just like, I'm hanging on to that a little bit more this year than even I did last year because I'm looking forward to next year resuming normal life, hopefully getting back to the Christmas parties and giving back, which is who I am and who our organization is.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And Christmas time, like I said earlier, can be so amazing, and yet it can be the toughest thing there is. And so I just have been trying, especially these last couple of years, to keep that in mind, keep it in the forefront. Zero judging, zero placing, just 100% heartfelt caring and giving. And yeah.
I just, I got a special ask of your listeners, my listeners, kind of everybody, veteran and non-veteran, to piggyback off that, is think about these veteran artists that are taking a shot in a lot of states, nationally, locally, et cetera, that normally go on tour during the year to provide during these slower times, which winter is for musicians, that are essentially sitting there with a huge deficit this year because they're not out performing, doing what they normally do, or the businesses that give God knows how much money, like some of your sponsors, to veterans that have to give a little bit less this year. And just, a lot of us have fat on our budget is what I call it, a little excess money, even if it's $1 or $2 here and there. Donate it to somebody, even if it's outside the circle you normally donate. Like every year, one thing I like to do, and I know some of their CEOs make stupid money, but I do it more for the bell ringers at the Salvation Army, is I like to have my daughter put $1 in the bucket, and I always put one in too, because a lot of times there's people that the Salvation Army has helped that are disabled, down on their luck, whatever else, ringing these bells, freezing their lady and male bits off, ringing the bell, hoping to get $1. And when you drop that $1 in that bucket, just to see the smile on their face, that's kind of why I started a nonprofit, is not because of me so much, but because when I can do one little thing, bring a singer up here that might not have got a shot to play somewhere else, or bring a veteran that's starting activism on whatever issue, whether it's MST, their book, fitness, public speaking, and I give them a stage to talk on and people there to hear their message. I mean, it's just nice to see their eyes light up, that twinkle we all had in our eyes when we served, when we were kids at Christmas. And that's why I do what I do. I like to see that, if you lose hope, all is lost.
It kind of feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just feels good. And I will keep going back to serve and to help is therapeutic. And I will selfishly do it because it makes me feel good. I will selfishly help people. Someone told me a while ago I was being selfish for the things I was doing. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'm good. That's however you need to do it. So,
and like when I first started Greater Veterans, I was talking to this older Vietnam vet, not to make light of what he did, right? But he essentially was on a boat in the Gulf just chilling. It's not like he was a ground troop, and I know all of us serve, and there's different cogs in the spokes of the military machine, and I get all that, and I'm not trying to discredit that. But I was talking to him about Greater Veterans and whatnot, and his response to me was, well, because you didn't do 20 years and retire or see enough, you feel you have to do it to justify it. And, I won't say on air what I said to him, but
he's on the naughty list.
Yeah, it was a foxtrot in uniform and then some other things, if you know what I'm saying. But it's just, that's what I'm saying is everyone's got to judge you. And, I did a show one time. They asked me, they said, what's it like doing a nonprofit? And I said, well, pick the busiest street in your hometown in the coldest time of year and stand on it naked. It feels like that a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
With you, buddy. With you.
I mean, I'll send you some pictures of that too. But I mean, one of our events, I wore a damn pink bunny suit from Christmas Store and got drunk in it, and everyone loved it. And I felt like a dumbass.
You standing naked on a street corner.
That's what I thought the picture was. No, yeah.
Don't need those.
I know that. I thought that's what you're offering.
I was going to start calling friends.
No.
I say, I was a medic. I've seen enough of you guys. Hey, Doc, what's this? And no, that shouldn't be growing there.
No, it's awesome.
Well, that's fun. Yeah.
So we're in closing, but we're not done. Remember, we do have a post show. If you're interested in being part of the Foxhole, you can get up on the comments real quick, and we will send you the link to the post show. Post shows afterwards where we can kind of let a little bit more freedom go in what we say and what we do. And we don't have we miss our moderator today. We're missing Josh. I talked to Nick about the thumbs, and we're missing him, but we know he's out doing some good things. Mr. Richardson has brought to our table an artist that he wanted us to present tonight. Did the quick reach out to her. We are going to present Miss Amelia Presley, and here is her stuff.
Told him I don't plan to stay, 'cause you've been bad, yeah, you've been treating me wrong. So listen to me, here's Christmas cheers, 'cause you won't be seeing me here. Oh, I won't decorate your Christmas tree this year. You can stay out there toasting cheers with all of your friends, but don't count on me being here when you drag your ass back home again. Your bulbs are burned out, your tinsel don't shine. I just won't be waiting this time. I won't decorate your Christmas tree this year. Well, I won't be here this Christmas Day. I wouldn't get a present anyway, but have a good time, don't be concerned about me. I'm going back to my mom and dad. They love me more than you ever have. Oh, I won't decorate your Christmas tree this year. You can stay out there toasting cheers with all of your friends. But don't count on me being here when you drag your ass back home again. Your bulbs are burnt out, your tinsel don't shine. I just won't be waiting this time. I won't decorate your Christmas tree this year. No, I won't decorate your Christmas tree this year.
I like it.
All right.
So Amelia is every bit the redheaded spitfire that she portrays in that video. She actually served with one of our board members, and I'd been a fan of hers for a while, and then she knew another musician that I worked with, and yeah, so she's going to be doing some stuff with us next year. Was supposed to this year, but gotta love the China virus, right? But
It is what it is.
exactly. I also wanted to say something to everyone struggling, veteran and non-veteran out there, that I say to my kids. I like to remind them, the only way to live forever is to leave a legacy worth remembering, and I truly believe that. And tough times don't last, tough people do. So
I love it, Nick. Thank you
reach
so
out,
much.
get a hold of people.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your mission. Thank you for your drive, your candor. Brian, it's always great having you here. We're going to get your thing rolling, moving, and doing what it needs to do, and making sure we're taking care of veterans and first responders. Remember, at the end of the day, everyone, we want you to be safe. We want you to have food in your belly, and we want you to have a roof over your head. And if you don't have any of those things, reach out to any one of us here on screen. We got you. We got your six. We have your six. And so with that said, we wish you all the merriest of all Christmases. As Andrea had said earlier, whatever holiday you are celebrating during this time, we want you to have that exact same time. And we will see you when this holiday is over. Patriot Pride.